everyone. Welcome to another episode of Help with Natalie Cuomo. I'm here with Rafi Bastos.
Thanks for inviting me.
Of course. Thanks for being here.
I hope I can speak English for an hour.
Yeah.
That's the challenge. Not to have a good conversation, more to have a conversation.
Really?
Yeah.
When did you move here?
I moved to America. It was 18.
Oh, okay.
So I moved to LA,
Uh-huh.
start performing there. So then in 19, I moved to New York.
Oh, wow.
It was better for me. It was closer to Brazil.
Yeah.
Shorter flight, cheaper flight, more flights. And I have a son in Brazil, so I go back and forth a lot. So New York was much better for me, much. And the comedy is better too, you know.
Yeah.
Comedy is better.
In
I
New
don't know if
York
it's-
versus LA?
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
agree.
is it?
I do agree.
I can never talk about this with anyone.
Really?
I feel that, but nobody told me that.
Oh, I feel like every New Yorker has a lot of pride around that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Those people in LA think the same, like we are better than them. No, not.
I don't know.
They're too worried with auditions.
Yeah, exactly.
They have too much to do.
I like to start the podcast asking the best advice you ever received.
Well, the best advice I've ever received when I was 28, I had this horrible. I just had this horrible breakup.
Mm-hmm.
I was 26, actually. I was 26, and I went back to my city. I used to live in a small city in Brazil. I didn't live in São Paulo, which is the big city with like 15 million people. Everything happens in São Paulo. So I had this horrible breakup. My girlfriend at the time left me to live with a guy in another country. So she went there because of the opportunity. It's much more than just love. We didn't have that much money. She had less than me at the time. So it was like an opportunity for her to just like live life and leave that place because we live in a small city. And I was trying to live this life in São Paulo, which was the big city. But my heart was broken. I went back to my house, my father's house.
Mm-hmm.
So after like 20 days, he was very like, he gave me a lot of love. But he said, you are an artist and you have to leave. And I wasn't an artist at the time. So he pushed me to search for something that I wasn't even sure of exactly what it was. But he always believed that I was an artist, even before I found out that I was a comedian and works with comedy and stuff. So it would be very easy for him to say, just come here, live with us. There's a good life here. You're not gonna, why you're searching for challenges. And I think that pushed me. I don't think he only pushed me to go back to São Paulo, which was the big city, but actually pushed me to look for, to always have support at home to look for my goals. If I'm in New York now, that's because the way I was raised, and I remember that day.
Wow.
Wow, I think that was very good, huh?
That's nice.
And very good English.
Very good
For
English.
2 minutes in a row. I'm very proud of myself.
Did you start doing stand-up in Portuguese?
I did, yeah. I did for 19 years.
Wow.
19 years now. It was like 17 years, so I moved here. But I did for a long time.
Yeah.
I was one of the pioneers of stand-up comedy in Brazil. It was a group of like 5 people.
Oh my God.
It was like me and 4 guys. It was before YouTube, so we couldn't watch other people. The only reference that we had of stand-up was the beginning of every Seinfeld episode.
Yeah.
That's what he knew.
Yeah.
So then we got this CD, because I don't know if you guys had that, but it was like CDs with movie files. That's what we had.
Mm-hmm.
They had a few of those Comedy Central presents, like the 30-minute ones.
Yeah.
And I remember watching Brian Regan, Jim Gaffigan, Ted Alexandro, Louis C.K. So I had like 5 or 6 names. And we got addicted to that. Oh, look at this. It's so cool because it's comedy, but he's not doing a character. He's not impersonating anyone, because that's the type of comedy that we have in Latin America. So stand-up was something that was just about observation. It's this guy talking about what he thinks about the world, and that was so interesting for all of us. And we started this thing called stand-up, in 2003, 4. And when YouTube showed up, that's when those small, like little clips, the same thing that we do now, we were doing in 2005 when YouTube popped up.
Yeah.
So we were like posting little clips and stuff, and people were, wow, look at this. I want to see those guys. Where is it? Oh, in the description, there's the place where they are performing, where I can buy tickets. And that's how YouTube stand-up started, together with the beginning of YouTube.
So when you first started doing stand-up in Brazil, when it didn't really exist, like what was the initial response? Like how did people react to it?
I remember like when the MC always had to explain to people what we were doing.
Really?
Yeah, like, oh, this is a type of comedy. There's no light effects. There's no music. There's no... It sounds boring, right? But it sounds boring. There's nothing. But it's just this guy. He's not doing a character. So for a while, it was kind of difficult for people to understand, like, does this guy really thinks this? Is this just jokes, you know? So for a while, we had to explain to people before the show starts what we were doing. And I feel like we explained for a long time because it was our duty to just, you know, present that type of art to the people. So that was, I think that was the challenge because nobody knew what we were doing. And after a few years, the word stand-up was something that people were already talking, you know?
Right.
So people are like, I'm going to watch stand-up. Oh, this guy is good at stand-up. Stand-up became a word. But in the beginning, it was just like us doing time on stage. Because even the type of format that we have, like one person with a microphone, we had that. But people were doing characters, wearing a wig. So you would be a drunk guy. So you had your story. It was material,
Right.
but the guy was a character. So it was kind of difficult for people to just took their masks off and step on stage. Not for my little group of people because we didn't have that experience. You know, so we were not those guys doing those characters.
Right.
So we had this more like an American type of humor that we like to watch, and we watch series and Friends, and that's was our inspiration.
Right.
So that's why we felt a little natural for our group to do stand-up comedy.
How hard was it to like? Well, okay. How many of are they all still doing stand-up?
Most of them, yeah. Most
Yeah?
of them, yeah. And they all became very famous because after a few years, we started having opportunities to do like big shows on TV. So most of them still perform. I think like from that group of like, I would say 10 people, I think 4 is still one of we are the biggest names in I would say in comedy in Brazil.
That's amazing.
Yeah. There's huge names that don't do stand-up, but we have 4 of those 10 people are still big names in comedy in Brazil, yeah.
The
Traveling.
other 6 are just
Yeah, the other 6 failed, yeah. Some of them just quit. Other start doing, I don't know, soap operas and doing,
Right.
you know, like performing in theater.
Yeah.
A few of them were actors and actresses that started doing stand-up but never felt really natural because it's a very difficult transition to be an actor and start doing comedy. At that time it was. Now you can watch a lot of people, their specials.
Yeah.
You know where to, you know, to take an inspiration. So at that time, you could see like actors like performing on stage more like the movements. You can see that it wasn't natural, you know.
Right.
But we were like journalists and marketing people. We were like writers, so that was much more natural for us. So because we didn't have any training.
I feel like your career has had such a you opened a club in Brazil, right?
I did, yeah.
You've had so many TV appearances, and then you've had a whole career here as well. I mean, I feel like we're in this industry where you only really see what's in front of you, and it feels like everything. Like everything that's happening to me right now, and I feel like a lot of people feel this way, is everything that my career is. And you don't really feel like the future exists in a way, or the past exists.
Yes.
Like what, I don't know, like with the experience you have, like what's your insight on that?
I am very grateful. And I would repeat to my wife almost every night, look at what we are right now. This is such an amazing thing. And coming to America, how long have you been doing stand-up?
6 years.
Do you think you got a lot in 6 years, right?
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
You are in good clubs. You're traveling the country. This is amazing. But it's a very short period for you to remember.
Yeah.
5 years ago is not that long,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
After a while, you kind of forget the beginning. It's okay. If I sit down with a friend from that time, we would have those conversations and remember those days. But I think the thing that keeps me grounded, it's the fact that I'm very grateful, and so I don't take it for granted everything that I'm living right now. The fact that I am traveling the country and bringing people, and I have this social media that is working for me right now, and I'm doing shows. I did like a little tour in the Middle East, and people pay to watch me, like Muslims with like all covered, paying to watch me and laughing at me. That was an amazing thing. But that makes me, the coming to New York and coming to America was a very humbling experience, and an experience that I needed to have. Because I had it all in Brazil. I used to have a nightly talk show. Before I had this huge TV show. I traveled the country like 3 or 4 times. Got a decent amount of money that I could survive. I wouldn't have to work anymore. So that's awesome. But coming here, and I love the fact that nobody knows nothing about me. So can you imagine if a guy, I don't know, I'm not going to compare myself, but think about a guy like, I don't know, Louis C.K. or Chris Rock.
Yeah.
This guy is starting from zero in another country in something that he
Yeah.
knows how to do it.
Yeah.
Because it's not that I'm starting from zero. I know how to do stand-up. I have been doing stand-up. But conquering another area and another country and another moment in my career, this is such a good thing. So I'm very grateful every time I do something new. Because I know how big are the fact that I'm performing at the Cellar, you know. And you know what's crazy? It's very difficult for me to translate this to my audience.
Yeah.
Because they don't know that. So they don't know that it's much more difficult to have my frame at the Cellar than it is to do, I don't know, maybe a late night set.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how can I explain this to my people? So everything that I'm doing, it's kind of selfish, but it's true. It's for me.
Yeah.
Because if it was about the money, I would be in Brazil right now. If it was about success, I would be knocking in TV stations' door to try to do the daily show. But I really love stand-up. This is what I wanted to do in my life. This is what I think I was born to do. And I feel like I'm learning every day. And that makes me really humble because after so many years, I still learn. I still watch a guy and I'm like, what the fuck? Look at this guy. I've never seen this guy before. This is so amazing. I get inspired. So I feel alive. So that's what it makes me happy. And that's what makes me look at the past and be grateful for everything that happened. Otherwise, I wouldn't be living what I'm living right now.
That's a great answer.
Yeah, isn't it?
Yeah.
Don't you feel grateful?
I do. I feel a gratitude for the past with an immense anxiety about the future.
What is the anxiety about?
I don't know, like an anxiety that I'll be able to maintain whatever momentum I feel like I'm creating, because I do feel like I'm fed this you've done so much in the time that you've been doing it. You've done so much in the time you're doing it. You've done a lot. You're crushing it. And it's like, am I like this anxiety? Like, can I keep that up? Is is this just right now? Is it all going to go away? And I think it's just this feeling that I always have to, and I feel like while I was working hard, I was anxious. So I feel like I also equated those things.
You was anxious?
Yeah, I was like anxiously, doing shows, anxiously writing, anxiously going on social media, making clips. So I kind of equate hard work and anxiety. And I also do feel anxious that it's, temporary, that it's not something that will continue to explore. But then there's also like the truth in my heart that's like, no, I know this is what I'm meant to do, and I know that it'll continue. So I don't know. It's just like the constant dialogue in your head.
But also, it's kind of good that you're anxious to the fact that you're worried about, am I gonna be able to keep this momentum?
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine if you never had this momentum?
Yeah.
Then you would be worried, like, am I just like wasting my time here?
Right.
So it's crazy because you cannot control what is going to happen in your career. You cannot control. A few things you can control. Being good in what you do, like getting there on time, trying to search the opportunities. But if you're gonna have those opportunities or not, that's not in your control, right?
Yeah.
So it's okay to be anxious, but we just have to be anxious about the things that we can control, because otherwise,
That's valid.
So that's going to be torture.
Yeah. I do like to separate the things that you control, writing more, getting on stage as much as possible, and making clips, continuing to put yourself out there. But yeah, it's strange because I feel like, for example, like I recorded a half hour at the Stand last September.
Okay.
That moment felt so huge. That felt like the biggest moment ever. And then in retrospect, that's one hump. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And everything is just one thing that feels so huge. And then I feel like you're this person that's had so many of these mountains.
But
and
were you able to enjoy that moment?
I do. I feel like I was able to enjoy it. I feel like I think it's enjoying those lulls in between those moments, enjoying those times in between those highs that feels very difficult for me. Like just enjoying the process and trusting it and trusting yourself for some reason.
So now there's a little bit of anxiety that another big moment is coming, or you don't know what's the next moment?
Anxiety about being everything. Exactly.
I know.
I guess yeah.
I think maybe the fact that I did it, I was successful at one time. I was famous in my country. I think that give me this tranquility, like, I know. Here's the thing. It doesn't mean that because you never got to that point, I don't know, you're not a Chris Rock right now. It doesn't mean that when you become a Chris Rock, you're not going to have other anxieties. So
Right.
it's more about the way you handle this whole thing than it is about the place that you are. Because you are in an amazing place.
Yeah.
Look, you are in the comedy capital of the world, performing at the biggest clubs. There's so many good things that is happening,
Yeah.
If you think about it like this, I could be in Minnesota right now working at 7-Eleven, dreaming about going to Chicago. That could be your place,
Right.
So there's always a way to look at things and be happy.
Yeah.
And be happy. I think us as comedians, we romanticize misery too much. The suffering too much. I don't think it's crazy because, like, happy people, it looks like every comedian needs to be miserable. I see people talking, friends and people that I really love. It's almost suffering for sport.
Yeah.
It's okay if it is for sport. Like, something makes me uncomfortable. I wanna talk about this. But to really feel sad and miserable, that's a lot.
Yeah.
And that drains you for like that is gonna steal your heart.
Yeah.
you can be uncomfortable. I don't like this, the heat, this person, it's annoying. I don't like the Uber. That's okay. But to really, embrace the pain, then you have a miserable life. I think it's always a choice.
Yeah.
Suffering, it's always a choice. Even when you lose a relative, you can choose to look at, okay, I had an amazing life, I enjoyed being with that person. My dog died today.
Oh my
So
God.
I'm a little emotional.
Are you okay?
Not here.
I'm so
My dog in
sorry.
Brazil. It's okay. He was 15 years old. We
Aw.
kind of knew it would happen, but and I was talking to my kid because it was his first experiences with like loss,
Yeah.
and he was like, "Oh, he was crying," and I told him, that was an amazing life that the dog had. So look at this as a good thing, like. We enjoyed. We knew that would happen. We did everything we wanted to do, and it's okay. So we can be happy. You just have to choose to be happy. Wow, this became more like a cult thing.
A what, cult?
Yeah, I'm a cult leader.
Yes.
Follow me. Follow me. I have followers, and I'm saying, things that makes people grow. That's crazy.
I'm sorry about your dog.
It's
That's
okay.
terrible.
No, it's okay. I know. Yeah, it's okay. It's a pug.
Yeah.
15 years for a pug. That's a lot.
That is very long.
I know.
15 times 7. I can't do that math,
you
but
imagine?
it's 7 years.
It's like 100 years old.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
I feel like dogs are. I was just thinking today they should be holding like Catholic masses for dogs the same way they do for people.
You think so?
Yeah.
That would be good. Yeah.
But it is crazy. I definitely think New York hones in on misery a lot too. The artist, like the miserable artist. And I think that it's I've always felt like it was romanticized to too much of a degree, and then when you actually felt it, it was just terrible. You're like, wait, what? This sucks.
Yeah, I know.
But so your Don't Tell set just came out this year.
Yeah.
And you talk a lot comparing Brazil and the U.S.
The U.S. Yes.
Do you feel like the cultures are very different? I know comedy is always like showcasing the differences, but do you feel like in general there are really large?
Yeah. There is a lot of differences in different places, whether the way we communicate. That's the hardest thing.
Yeah.
That's why we don't have in America third and fourth generations of Brazilians here, because it's not easy to have American friends. We are completely different the way we relate to the other.
What is the big thing that is not being satisfied?
Okay, let's have coffee tomorrow. Let's have coffee, and you're like, how about April 15? That's America. I'm going to be busy for the next 2 weeks. Send me a message in 3 weeks. In Brazil, let's have coffee. Of course, where? And the person goes to the coffee. That's what we do.
Right.
We just meet people. We are very social, very social. And because we are in comedy, which is per nature a very social people,
Yeah.
Sometimes we don't see that. But in America, it's not that easy to have friends that you can visit and you can have lunch, and all of a sudden you call and you have dinner, and I would say it's when you have a real connection in America, it's real.
Yeah.
That's good. In Brazil, we have a lot of these people who are now your friends, but friend enough to have a dinner or to just go out and go out to dance. That's what we do. So we are more social. So when Brazilians come to America, they kind of stay in those little groups. There's a lot of Brazilians in Boston, a lot of Brazilians in Florida, a lot of Brazilians in New Jersey. They all work together. Come here, make some money, go back to Brazil. That's the way they do it. So it's very difficult for them to be here. And but there's a lot of different little differences. Like Great. There's also better things in America, much better. Like the fact that I can go to my house 3 o'clock in the morning walking. That's amazing.
Right.
That's you don't know how amazing this is. New York. And people say New York is dangerous. It's dangerous. It's not at all.
Right.
I go walking. I walk like 20 blocks to my house at 3 o'clock in the morning. I would never do this in São Paulo. Never. You get robbed in the second street, third maybe. That's yeah, or maybe not. But there's
Yeah.
always a risk. You feel like there's always this risk. People mug you in the traffic light if you leave your window open.
Really?
That's how it is. So you feel like you're always in danger that something might happen. Yeah, here it can happen. Oh yeah, of course it can. But you're not worried because it's not that common.
You feel like there's just like a general ungratefulness among Americans because they haven't experienced that
Yes.
kind of, yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes. Life out there is very hard. That's why don't you think it's a little weird that everybody wants to come to America? I want to say everybody. A lot of people that are watching here are probably Brazilians that couldn't care less about America.
Yeah.
They're watching because they want to learn English. Which I know that. I know. And thank you. Thank you for watching. It's okay. But there's a lot of people from all over the world that wants to come here. Well, but it's dangerous. It's expensive. Yeah. But you guess what? It's there's opportunities. You can have a good life. There's people that are here. They're working shitty jobs, but shitty jobs pay you enough to send money to your family in, I don't know, Nicaragua and Colombia, you know?
Yeah.
Dollars, you know? $1 today is 5 of my money.
Right.
So this means that if I do, I don't know, I go to Miami and I get like $5,000, I'm getting 25,000 of my money. Of
Right.
course, I live here. That doesn't make a difference because I'm spending dollars.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying, this is what people do. They come here,
Right.
they make money, they send the money to Brazil. After 2-3 years, they go back. But there is sometimes kind of people here don't know how the world works too much, so they don't see how amazing this place is, and they get a little stressed and sad about little things. And life out there is so horrible. People are living little places with like 9-10 relatives. It's very hard.
Do you feel like you ever forget how, like, do you lose touch with that too, just living here, or since you're from Brazil, it's in you?
I don't lose touch because I lived there until I was, I don't know, 35 years old.
Yeah.
No, 30, almost 40 years old.
Yeah.
So I know how life works. I wasn't poor. I was middle class. My father worked in a hospital, so I was never hungry or anything like that. I was never rich. Comedy gave me the opportunity to make money, the money that my father was never able to make it. So I did well for myself. But I used to do a TV show in Brazil I did for like 4 or 5 years. It was a journalism TV show, and it was a very cool experience. And I think that also helped me with the sense of gratitude that I have today. It was a journalism show that I used to live different lives, and I would stay 48 hours in the favelas. I would sleep with the people who collect garbage. I would sleep behind a tower, and I would dress as homeless and spend 24 hours living as a homeless. So I had the experience of see those lives and go back home to the comfort of my house with my wife and my kid, and was like, oh, I'm so lucky, you know? And that helped me a lot. I was never a complainer, but I was always, I knew that my life was good. But when I saw that, it was like, oh, that's...
So what was the craziest, like the most difficult thing that you had to do as a journalist?
Wow. There was one story that we did that talk about prostitution. Prostitution in Brazil is so bad because it's dangerous. You don't know what you're gonna get. So I followed the life of a few prostitutes and some trans people that were like selling sex, and that was very, very difficult. And I wasn't able to sell my body because nobody would pay for it. But
I bet they didn't let you didn't let you watch.
yes, yes. But and also the one that I dressed as homeless and spent like 48 hours living on the streets. That was very difficult.
Yeah.
It was very difficult because like nobody looks at you. It's so degrading, you know. You ask for some money for you to be able to eat, and people were like, ugh.
Did anyone recognize you? Like at that
No.
point you were
No. I was all like wear costumes and makeup and
wow.
yeah, that was cool.
That's crazy.
That was a cool experience. It was sad, but it was very humbling. I
Yeah.
remember. It was good.
You also hosted the Netflix obstacle show Beastmaster.
Yes.
What was that like? And you have an overlap with sports, right?
I used to play basketball.
Yeah.
That's when I came here to America the first time. 1999, I think.
Wow.
I got a scholarship to play basketball, and that's when I saw stand-up for the first time.
Oh, okay.
That's when I saw stand-up for the first time. So then I went back to Brazil. There was no stand-up, but I saw here because you have like Comedy Central,
Yeah.
which is like an old TV. Nobody knows, but it's an old TV show.
Yeah.
It's an old TV channel. And I watched stand-up here. I thought it was so amazing. But I went here to play basketball. I lived in Nebraska for a year. I got injured, and I went back to Brazil. And I never went back.
And then what happened when you hosted the Netflix show? What was that like?
It was awesome.
Yeah?
It was awesome. It was cool. It's like American Ninja Warrior, but like more like a crazy.
Did you get to try the course?
I did.
Yeah.
I did. And the third season I did.
Yeah.
Because Brazil did really, really bad. So I was like, bro, it's only the first level. There are 3 levels. In the first level, we are out in the first level. So I was hosting with this MMA fighter called Anderson Silva. He's a very famous MMA fighter. And we were like, bro, we have to do something for people to keep interested in our version of the show. So I did the course.
Wow.
I did it. But I did it more like a Sacha Baron Cohen type of way, you know, 'cause it would be so ridiculous if I took it seriously, you know. I'm a comedian.
Right.
So I just jumped in the middle of the river. I just had fun because like 90% of the Brazilians went to the second obstacle, the third obstacle, and 90% fell on the third obstacle.
Okay.
I reached the third obstacle, and I am taller than them because they couldn't reach something.
Yeah.
And I was like, bro, I cannot pass this because that would look horrible. So I waited until the swing was almost stopping for me to jump. I did it. I played like a clown because otherwise it would be horrible, you know. All of a sudden I'm doing well. That was not the purpose, but that was awesome.
Right.
I always had a good relationship with Netflix. The first content that Netflix bought in Brazil was my first special.
Wow.
It was the first content that they bought.
That's amazing.
So they released my second special before they had those originals. And my third special was an original in Portuguese for Netflix.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you get a lot of requests to do more in Portuguese again?
Well, I feel like my people are following my journey here.
That's nice.
Yeah. It took some time.
Yeah.
Because not that many people speak. There's a lot of English speakers in Brazil, but I would say, I don't know, less than 10%. It's not a country like Israel that everybody speaks English, or
Right.
China or something like that.
Yeah.
Everybody speaks a little bit. But I feel like the people who are not following my comedy are following my journey, searching for something, bigger for me.
Yeah.
So it was difficult for me to explain to people what I am doing here,
Right.
because that's what I was saying. Like those little steps and those little landmarks are very specific to comedy. It's not like music. Oh, he played, I don't know, he played this arena or he went to this TV show. In comedy, there's such specific steps. You're an MC and then you become a feature and then you're headlining at the clubs and theaters and arenas. So we don't have that in Brazil. You know, I was doing theaters in Brazil.
Right.
So that's the crazy thing. That's why I'm saying it's humbling, because I was already doing theaters in Brazil. So coming here and do a small comedy club is more about me than it is about the conquer, you know?
Right.
It's the conquest or the conquer?
Conquering or the conquest.
Yes, the conquest. It's more about what I search for myself. I'm searching for myself than it is about the success. I'm not here to be an international celebrity. I hope it happens, but if it doesn't happen, it's okay. I don't need that. I needed once to be famous.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like I need anymore.
Yeah.
Do you think do you feel like you want to be famous one day, like to step on the street and people ask for autographs? And
I feel like I want to be the best at stand-up that I can be. And I want to work on a project that I feel really proud of. And I think, I feel like I mean, it's not about like being famous. It's about like being successful, I think. Yeah.
But you are successful.
Yeah, but successful on a level, successful on a larger magnitude.
Okay.
Yeah.
But is there a limit on that magnitude or not?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely like, I just want to be in a place where like I can continue to express myself and create community and write and perform for my life. Like I want to be able to do that.
Do you feel proud of what you're doing on stage right now?
I do. I feel like there are jokes that I'm writing right now that I feel really good about.
Nice.
Which is a good feeling, like when you write something that you feel good about and you feel proud to say. I can feel the difference though in the things I feel proud of and in the things I feel that I was once proud of and maybe now I've grown a little tired of. Because I think I just can feel the difference in when I say them. I don't know if that's just...
Yeah, of course.
But I do feel proud of like the work that I'm doing, and especially when I push myself out of my comfort zone and then I come back and I don't know. I feel like we've been going on the road so much. I've been working on all this material and then we've been home for like 2 months. And I'm like, I miss that material, and it's different to bring it back in like the smaller chunks in the city. So
yeah, I know.
Yeah.
If is it personal? It's like very personal to you, like your material? Not necessarily.
It's not. I mean, it is. It's not like too personal. It's just like I feel like I like perfecting it on the road,
Nice.
like that. The process feels personal, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like that process on the road feels personal, and then when I'm in New York, I just like. I'll work on that process, but like I'll open my heart in another level, like when I can like get deeper into a set and have longer time on stage, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's a different feeling.
It is, and I just feel like it's like a different connection you have. Like I guess the more I do stand up, I feel like the less time it takes in a set for me to like sink into a feeling where I'm like, okay, I'm me now. If that makes sense.
No. Tell me again.
I don't know.
Explain
like
to me again.
The more that I've been doing stand up,
Okay.
which again, not that long, but I feel like the less time it takes for me to be in a set and then be like, okay, I'm me. Like the first joke, I don't feel like me. Maybe the second joke or a few minutes in, I'm like, okay, I feel like Natalie. Do you know what I mean?
I do, but you're talking about timing? You're talking about the way
like
you're expressing yourself, or just the feeling?
The feeling, I guess.
Okay.
Like the first time I speak, I'm like, in my head, I'm like, I'm on stage saying my line and there are the people. And then like a few minutes in, I'm like, okay, now I'm doing my thing and I'm not in my head.
Nice.
But it does take like a few minutes for me to like not do that.
Did it ever happen that after 50 minutes you're like, I'm still not me?
Yes.
You did?
Probably. I don't know. After 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, I
A whole
guess.
set are like trying to, I don't feel.
I guess maybe. I don't know.
That happens. Sometimes you just get out too automatic soon, right?
I guess.
Yeah.
But I mean, most of the time, no.
That's why the short sets are good too, because you're always putting something new. Sometimes if you're doing your own show too much,
Yeah.
after 20 minutes, you're like, oh, there's still 40. Okay. I hope it ends.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I used to do like in Brazil for a while when I would do like a small theater, I would do like 4 shows in a day.
Wow.
After the third one, you're just throwing up words. You don't know what you're talking about.
Right.
You know, because you know the rhythm, you know?
Mm-hmm.
You know the rhythm, you know the mathematics behind those jokes, but it's crazy. I don't know if you feel this, but when you repeat a joke too much, you start doing it in the same way, with the same pauses, and you're looking at the same place when you do this, and
Yeah.
and you're like, why am I never chose to do this.
Yeah.
But it becomes an act,
Right.
right? After a while. And it's good when it becomes natural. You're like, oh, see, it's natural.
Yeah.
You think it took some time for you to understand who you are on stage?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I think like streaming on Twitch, because like I play video games on Twitch, I think that helped me like accept myself, like helped me, because you just talk, you're just talking for hours and hours, and it kind of just helped me let go of a level of self-consciousness, because you're like, all right, I'm being accepted for myself, and you just can trust that a little bit. I mean,
Nice.
stand-up is really trust in yourself at the end of the day. It's like in acting, you're like, you learn all the lines, and then you forget them all, essentially.
Got it. There's a lot of people that watch you play video games also watch the...
I'd say.
Yeah?
I feel like a good
That's
amount.
good.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
To have someone that follows you, not because of what you're doing, but because of you.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. I like that. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. I honestly, it's good. I do feel grateful. I feel like it's a nice community on Twitch and my podcast.
You like to play? What do you play?
I play Stardew Valley. Have you heard of it?
No.
It's a farming
I just
game.
play Fortnite.
Oh,
That's
really?
the only thing I play.
I am bad at Fortnite.
You are?
Yeah.
But now they have a mode that
No building.
Yeah.
I'm still bad at it. I should practice, but I love this fake farming. It's really, I mean, you have my pigs, my chickens, but my farm is like beautiful, and
nice.
it's like.
It looks like you have a lot of time to talk while you're doing that.
Yeah,
too.
it is. The thing is with those games that
Yeah.
like with the shooters and stuff, you can't really talk about anything because you're just like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or like you're playing Mario Kart and you're just super focused. But I feel like with like a game that's a little less mental energy, you could talk about your day, talk about the things you did, just a little chat, get to know everyone. It's like more, I don't know. So yeah, I don't know. It's good.
I opened a Twitch a few months ago.
Yeah? How did it go?
I never actually, I never promoted. Have a few people there with me that sometimes I go like at 3 o'clock in the morning to play Fortnite, and I have fun.
It is fun.
But then it was so difficult to make this, like you need to make money, you need to be like a promoter, that there's like levels that you can.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's too much.
It is. It's a whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was too much. I was like, I don't know if I want to go that far. I felt that I was a little addicted to video game when I was a kid. But I always felt that I could be doing more. And when I started learning how to edit videos, and I started writing and creating like websites and stuff, I can program a little. All the clips I help editing, some of them I edit myself, and Photoshop. And I wanted to learn all of those tools to help me with comedy.
Right.
So I stopped playing video games because like one day I wanna do my own game. I never did, but I I was always this guy who went to a theater and thought, yeah, that could be me.
Yeah.
That could be me. I was watching a documentary, like a Whitney Houston documentary. You can ask my wife that. And at the end of the documentary, like she was crying, and I was like, if I practice, give me 2 months, and I can bring you, I can be singing better than Whitney Houston. I'm so confident that it's horrible.
What do you? Why do you think you're so confident? Have you always been that way?
I've always been that way.
Really?
To the point that it's arrogant. Now it's not.
Yeah.
Now
yeah.
I was able to
Yeah.
separate confidence than arrogance.
I have I really struggle with confidence for some.
You
My
do?
confidence does not match where I am at all. Like I look in the mirror, I do not see myself.
Oh my God! Yeah, that's you shouldn't. You're doing so well.
I know, but it's not even. It's everything
Yeah, I
for
know.
some reason. But it's just life. But it's something I work on. But yeah.
I go up after Chappelle at the cellar, and in my mind, I'm better than him. I know I'm not. But I'm the only one who thinks that. But I'm step on stage thinking, I'm going to show
But
them.
that comedy is confidence. So much of comedy is confidence. Like sometimes you watch I like watching on Instagram. I like watching people's clips without sound. I like just looking at the subtitles, and then I'm like, I like just looking at what the writing is, and I'm like, because that's really, I mean, to me, you just look at the writing and you're like, all right. I mean, that's okay. And so much of it is the delivery and the stage presence.
Yes.
And that's something that people don't give enough credit to because you can't really put a finger on it. It's not something that you can really measure. But confidence and stage presence is like half of it. And I think if I could be half as confident in life as I am on stage, I'd be a much happier person.
So you feel you're confident on stage?
On stage, I'm very confident.
Okay.
In life, I'm like, I'm a piece of shit. But on stage, I think I'm the shit. It's very weird. I don't know why.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I feel like someone saw me perform and they're like, wow, you should be like that in your life. And I was like, I don't know.
That's crazy. Maybe that's where you feel more comfortable.
Yeah. It's funny because when I was a kid, I was afraid of the auditorium in my school. So, but I loved acting. So my mom signed me up for like the acting classes, and it was like my favorite. Like I loved being in like acting classes and plays. But I was afraid of plays. I was afraid of like any surprise. I was afraid of like people in costumes and masks, and so I don't know.
Were you confident when you did theater?
Yes, I was. When I was in theater, I was I was overly confident. Yeah.
That's amazing. That's where you.
But I think that is like.
Do you talk about this on stage?
I should. I mean, I have started to a bit. I think I'm like trying to tap into a lot more of like my childhood because I think it is really funny. But like, I feel like I was a funny little kid. I think I'm an only child, and I think only children are all pretty similar in a lot of ways. Like we're all pretty weird in similar ways because when you grow up without other kids around, it's weird. Like you just wind up not knowing how to relate to people the same way you would as if you had people your age around.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, the only thing is that you cannot. The fact that you don't feel confident, you are confident on stage. That's your job. Are you confident here talking to me?
Yeah.
Are you confident playing your games?
Yeah.
So you feel like at work you're confident.
At work I'm confident. It's just like at home, like drive, like just in my head. I guess like, but I guess everyone has their.
Do you think the lack of confidence already? How can I say atrapalhar? I don't know how to say atrapalhar in. Mess up with your goals a little bit?
Maybe.
You didn't search for something because I don't want to put myself in that situation because that can get a little, that can hurt you.
Yeah, because it's like, oh, I don't want to put myself in that situation because I don't want to be rejected, kind of thing. Yeah. I think that sometimes I like if I feel rejected by a situation, I'll think about it over and over again. When it's like, who gives a fuck about
Nobody
that?
cares.
Yeah.
Nobody cares.
Yeah.
I am confident, but I know that nobody cares.
Yeah.
I know that I'm gonna leave this stage and nobody's gonna remember me.
Yeah.
I know that.
That's actually I find that to be comforting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're free. You are free. You know, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
But I think that the fact that I am confident, that's what brought me here.
Mm-hmm.
I woke up one day and I'm like, I'm gonna succeed in America.
Right.
You know, it could, and also, what is succeeding? You know, it's that's so subjective. I feel like I am in this place where I feel proud of.
Yeah.
But there's some people that might look at me like the other day. There was a story in the news in Brazil because the other day it was like 2018, first show that I did here, or the second or third show at the Improv in LA. I got paid. I got $10, and I was like, this is something, you know. This is a beginning, and I was like kind of emotional, like, oh, this is so good. This is only the start, and I posted a picture of me with those $10. And I thought it was funny as fuck, but it was a story in the news in Brazil. Oh, he's doing shows in America and only getting $10. This is ridiculous. And people are like making fun of me. You need to be confident not for those things to destroy you.
Yeah.
And I thought it was, and when you approach in the comedy side, you're like, oh, that's funny, you know? I think I would make fun of someone who just posted a $10 bill.
I feel that. I mean, I feel like the negative comments, I do feel like I have a thick skin around that. People are crazy online. Oh, yeah. There's, especially to comedians. Mm-hmm. That is crazy.
And women comedians.
Yeah.
Much more. Because of the amount of horrible comments that women get online. Oh, my God. That's a lot.
Yeah.
And when the comedian is not good, even worse. Yeah. That can discourage someone to never do it again.
I know. It's funny because Dan and I were watching we just went on an Instagram rabbit hole together. There's an open mic in England that has an Instagram page for some reason. Oh. I know, it's terrible. And there's this one girl, and I actually liked her. Like, you know when someone doesn't do well, but you are like, they have something.
There's something there.
But you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And all the comments were terrible, but I was like, but she's good. And her whole account was like deleted. Like it was just, but it's like, I feel like social media is just like ruining people by providing access to just like insult attack them when it's just like not a necessary, like I feel lucky enough to have established my sense of self enough to not be destroyed by like. But you
are good too, Natalie. That helps.
Yeah.
That helps.
It does help. It does help.
You know?
Yeah.
It does help because otherwise people will be saying things and you're like, oh, maybe you're right. I don't know.
Right. When you're like, you look at your apartment that's like super nice. You're like, well, I paid for this with this, so I don't really give a fuck. But yeah, I do feel bad because say you go to your first open mic and someone has posted it and then everyone's like, you suck, go home. Well, then you're like, I guess I'm not going to try to, you know what I mean? I just feel like the internet has provided that for some people, which is sad. But that's crazy.
But also now people understand this a little better, right?
Yeah.
That everybody's crazy online.
That's true.
When I got my first cancellation in Brazil, nobody knew what was happening.
Yeah.
So everybody was against me. So that was kind of crazy because there was nobody saying, oh, those people are crazy. That's too much. They're going too far. No. That was only the beginning. Now when something happened, people are like, did Jonah Hill really did that? Is he an asshole? Is he not? There's someone questioning, at least to try to understand. Right. I think he's an asshole, but that's not the case. What I'm saying is like there's always someone second guessing, you know, the hate.
Right.
In the beginning, it was just like, oh.
It was blindly pointing fingers before, and now it's like,
why would I defend this? There's no reason for me to be defending this person. And I come from a place where my father was a politician for a little bit in Brazil.
Yeah.
And he was wrongly accused of something and destroyed my family basically for years. My father was depressed for like 10 years. So every time I see someone doing something bad, I always think twice. I'm like, did he really? How does that work? Was he really an asshole? Is this really right? Because we see that a lot now. Like, yeah, that was not exactly like this. Who is crazy here? So I think now we are living in this moment where people are trying to be more reasonable after being too crazy.
Right.
You know?
Okay, last thing. Do you know what these are?
I have no idea.
Tarot
Cigars?
cards? Tarot cards?
I know.
Cigars, he
Oh,
says.
no. Tarot cards. I know.
Yes?
I know. Okay.
I like to pull a tarot card at the end of every episode.
Okay. You're going to read to me?
Well, listen, I didn't say I was good at it. Okay, do you want to shuffle the deck?
Yes.
Okay.
I do it. So every card has a meaning.
Every card has a meaning. I know some of the meanings. The book knows the rest.
The book. You have to consult the book.
Sometimes we consult the book. By sometimes I mean all the time.
Do you believe in all of this?
It depends on the card.
If it's a good card, I always believe it. If it's a shitty card, not so much. Good. Okay.
Yeah. It's funny because we...
Can I take one?
Yes, please. Please
Okay.
take one.
Okay, I'll take one from the middle.
Okay, good. Oh, this is a bad card.
Oh my gosh.
It is bad. It's not good.
What is death?
It's not death, but it's just like, it's a bunch of broken glasses. It's emotional distress.
That's wrong.
Yeah, maybe pull another
That's wrong.
Pull another one.
Sorry, Tarot.
You pull another. Well, you did have a significant occurrence today.
I did. Oh, okay.
So it's not that crazy.
So let's keep the card.
We'll keep the card.
That's true. That's the one I got.
Yeah, it's the one you got. It is what life handed to you.
So this means that this is going to happen?
It doesn't mean that's what's happening. It's like, what do you need to hear today? It's something to reflect on.
Yeah, the dog died.
Wait, let's see what the card said. Maybe it could be wrong.
It maybe is completely opposite. You're rebuilding your life piece by piece.
It does. Okay. Well, it says it sends an urgent message. There's no hope of rekindling what's been lost. Points to phases of illness and physical stagnation. Nothing good. Physical stagnation, like not moving.
Okay.
Nothing good remains for you here. Lift your eyes.
The whole interview was me like, yeah, I'm gonna conquer the world, and that's how we end.
No, pull a better card.
No.
We pull one more.
Okay.
Oh, the devil. I give up.
Oh my God! No, read the devil. Read the devil.
The devil is kind of like
that never happened before, huh?
I like the devil.
Oh.
Well, no, the devil.
That's amazing.
The devil.
Now you're like thinking, this guy is lying to me. This guy is
I went to a funeral today. Your dog died. I don't know. We both had a dark day.
Oh, you got
I went to a funeral today. I went to a funeral today.
You did?
Yeah. And you had your dog died. We're not going to pull good cards.
No, we are not.
No.
Oh my God, what happened? Who died?
It was a relative of Dan's.
Oh my gosh.
But it's,
Dan's such a good guy, right?
He is a good guy.
I love Dan. He's great.
Well, okay.
He's not the devil.
The third.
Oh,
there we go. Nice little deer. That's going to be good. The Son of Pentacles.
Son of Pentacles. Well, better than
that's going to be
better than the devil.
Some little money happening.
I hope so.
We just pull one till we like it.
Better than the devil, right?
Wow. Loyal, quiet, dedicated, trusted.
Okay, that was you. You got that one. Let me get me another one.
Yeah.
The High Priest.
Oh, that's my favorite one. That one's good. That one's like the all-knowing, like, all power, stillness, observing. I have a tattoo of the High Priestess.
You do?
Yeah, it's good.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a happy card.
See?
All right, Rafi, where can people find you?
Just my Instagram, it's enough. Rafi Comedy, it's enough for people. Just click here, follow me there. It's all good.
Beautiful. Well, guys, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next week. Bye.